New faces, high stakes, and a city that never sleeps. The New York Knicks are back, and this season, the plot is thicker than ever. From rising stars to nail-biting matchups, get ready to dive deep into the top storylines that are about to shake up Madison Square Garden. Will the Knicks' offense evolve in terms of player movement and ball movement? The Knicks' offensive game has room for improvement, especially in the areas of ball distribution and player movement. Last season, they were a force to be reckoned with, boasting a top-4 offense during the regular season. But things took a turn in the playoffs, with a noticeable dip against Miami. Their strategy leaned heavily on safe plays, isolation moves, and scooping up second-chance points from rebounds. But when they struggled to command those offensive rebounds against Miami, their weaknesses started to emerge. You know what might help? More fluid ball movement, sharper cuts, and bringing Isaiah Hartenstein to the spotlight in the high post. Oh, and speaking of changes, how about Donte DiVincenzo stepping in for Obi Toppin? That could seriously amp up the floor spacing and our three-point game. Fingers crossed. Thibs takes some notes from the past and brings in some fresh new offensive strategies. Will either RJ Barrett or Immanuel Quickley take the reins as the third star? Or will someone else emerge? The Knicks are standing at a crossroads with their young guns, RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley. Fans and analysts alike are divided, debating who holds more value for the team's trajectory. On top of that, whispers of a blockbuster trade involving one of these bright talents are swirling, testing the patience of every Knicks fan. Now Quickley is reportedly nearing a contract extension. While the season's initial months will undoubtedly shape these narratives, a little birdie, in the form of reliable insiders like Ian Begley, hints that Quickley's ceiling and extension is on the horizon. If someone of Begley's stature is dropping these hints, it's wise to lend an ear. On the financial front, there's chatter that Quickley might pocket a yearly salary a tad below Barrett's. But let's be real, it's not just about the dollar signs for these players. The puzzle goes deeper. It's about understanding their potential roles within the Knicks, and possibly beyond. Could RJ flourish more if he's not playing second fiddle to stars like Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle? Or imagine Quickley paired with a powerhouse wing player. We might be able to witness his full potential, unveiling the Enigma, unpredictable RJ Barrett. Before we talk about RJ Barrett, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you bleed blue and orange, if you live for Knicks basketball, or if you're just a fan of the game, this channel is tailor-made for you. During the preseason, don't let RJ Barrett's stats jump out at you, remember? They don't paint the whole picture. Sure, he's had his ups and downs in previous preseasons, shining in some and dimming in others, but let's not get caught up in those numbers alone. Last summer, contract talks took a bite out of Barrett's court time. This summer, Barrett was out there representing Team Canada at the FIBA World Cup, and man, did he make his presence felt. He stormed the court, not just as a competent player, but as a formidable slasher, giving fans a sneak peek into the dynamo he's evolving into. Now, as the Knicks' third top earner, and stepping into a fresh contract year at 23, should we obsess over his preseason shot accuracy? Probably not. Barrett is blossoming, and it's not just about nailing threes, though no doubt that'd be a boon for the Knicks' success. Recall the playoffs? RJ didn't shine because he morphed into a three-point wizard overnight. No, it was his basketball acumen. He read the game, pivoted smartly against defenses, taking what was given to him, and dished out clever assists. These glimpses of brilliance, mirrored in the World Cup, promise exciting days ahead for Knicks fans. Yet, if he looks flustered amidst tight defense, given the Knicks' starting lineup isn't exactly three-point royalty, that might be a red flag. Reflecting on the World Cup, Barrett had moments of brilliance, but it also underscored areas needing polish. The challenge? Stay confident, stay shooting, even if rivals give him space. To truly ascend, RJ needs to hone his catch-and-shoot prowess. It's a journey, and for Knicks fans, one worth watching unfold. Will the Knicks regret trading Obi Toppin, or will Donte DiVincenzo be a better fit for the Knicks? As Obi Toppin steps into his new role with Indiana, it's bound to stir up emotions for Knicks fans. However, it's crucial to understand that the Knicks' decision to trade him was calculated, not rash. Just because Obi might flourish in Indiana doesn't suggest that the Knicks missed the mark. That's just the ebb and flow of New York basketball for you. Donte DiVincenzo should step up for the Knicks. The guy's poised to make some waves for the Knicks. Sure, we're saying goodbye to some of Obi's breakneck sprints down the court, but between you and me, was Thibs really tapping into that? On the bright side, DiVincenzo's got this three-point mojo that's bound to give the Knicks an edge, and with Hart and RJ stepping up to the plate, our rebound game is still on point. Looking at the big picture, with Thibs driving the strategy, the Knicks seem to be onto something good with this trade. Will Julius Randle have another All-NBA season and perform in the playoffs? The guy can score, no question about it. But folks are wondering if he can keep that momentum going season after season, especially when the playoffs roll around. Now, when Jalen Brunson joined the Knicks, things looked even brighter for Randle. That is, until that pesky ankle injury threw a wrench in his playoff mojo. Some critics argue Randle's gameplay, holding onto the ball a bit too long, taking long and difficult two-pointers, and a somewhat hit-or-miss three-point game, might not stand up to those intense playoff defenses. And even with 2 all-star nods under his belt, there are some players without that star status who rank higher on the NBA's top 100. So, the questions about Randle's consistency? Totally fair. But hey, only time will tell if he steps up both in the regular season and when the pressure's on in the playoffs. As for the Knicks sticking with Randle, they simply didn't spot a trade that would have made sense without him. Trading him away, especially after a not-so-great season in 2022 and with that hefty contract, not ideal. They were banking on him bouncing back, and boy did he, nabbing his second All-NBA pick in 3 years. And now, trading him would demand a big return. Plus, it doesn't hurt that team owner James Dolan is quite the Randle fan, so he's in a good spot. But let's be real. If a dream trade came knocking, one that would seriously boost the Knicks, but meant parting ways with Randle, they'd have to think about it. However, given that Randle is a prime 2-time All-Star who shines best in a particular setup, the trade options aren't plenty. And whether he's with CAA or another agency, that doesn't change the equation much. Will Quentin Grimes take a leap in his development? Here's a rising star with some exciting potential, though he's still polishing up his off-the-dribble shooting and how he handles those pick and rolls. Now, with big names like Barrett, Randle, and Brunson on the court, there's the big question. Will Grimes get enough playing time and usage to truly show his stuff? I'm on the edge of my seat to see how he grows and just maybe surprises a few fans out there. Call me an optimist, but I can totally see him climbing the ranks to become the 3rd MVP on the team by year's end, trailing only Randle and Brunson. Impressively, Grimes has yet to accumulate 3,000 NBA minutes or attempt 1,000 field goals in just 117 career games. His journey from Kansas to Houston has been nothing short of intriguing, causing us to consider his abilities as that of a younger player with less pedigree. Now, everyone's buzzing about Grimes probably being a starter, but with Brunson, Randle, and Barrett hogging the ball, will he truly get his moment under the spotlight? What if we mixed things up and paired Grimes with the second unit? That could potentially give him the chance to shine, kind of like RJ's breakout moments last season. But of course, all eyes are on Coach Thibodeau. With his known ways of sticking to certain lineups, who really knows what cards he'll play? What big trade is on the horizon for the Knicks, and who will go out in that trade? Let's talk about the future of the Knicks and their upcoming moves. On one hand, the thought of landing a superstar and making a legit run for the championship? Absolute adrenaline rush. But on the flip side, the nightmare of a bad trade, and then, poof, back to square one. We've been down this hopeful road before. Fingers crossed for that game-changing moment. It's like walking a tightrope. Now, let's chat Embiid. Word on the street is the Knicks are practically glued to his every move. Still, the big question is, will he or won't he be up for grabs? Just knowing the Knicks are in the conversation gives me a glimmer of hope. Yet if that window starts to close, the team might need a new game plan. Will they pivot to Donovan Mitchell? And as for mid-season trades, your guess is as good as mine. Will the Knicks resign Immanuel Quickley before the season starts? There's talks about the Knicks possibly re-signing Quickley. Smart move, both for on-the-court action and potential future trades. With the contract deadline approaching, the spotlight's on Quickley. Will he lock in an extension before the season's first jump ball? Or will we see him dip his toes into the restricted free agency pool next year? From what we've heard, the winds seem to be blowing toward a deal. Quickley, who's been turning heads, isn't just a rising star, he's already shining bright on the team. Even if he hits a plateau, he's still golden. Word on the street, we could be talking about a sweet contract in the ballpark of $16 million to $20 million annually. Now, I remember those playoff jitters he had under Thibodeau's watch. But come on, everyone's allowed a misstep, right? That shouldn't rob him of a deserving bump in his paycheck. The Knicks might be a bit tight on the cash front next summer, but locking in Quickley now could sidestep some sticky trade situations later on. Sure, moving Quickley post-extension can be a bit of a headache with all the salary cap math, but trading top-tier talent mid-season? That's not the usual playbook. Remember how the Knicks maneuvered with RJ Barrett's deal despite all its intricacies? As the clock ticks toward that deadline, the air is thick with anticipation. Will the Knicks play it smart and keep one of their key pieces? Can Quickley keep up his upward trajectory? Fans, including yours truly, are on the edge of their seats. Did this video get you excited for the upcoming NBA season? Well, good news. You can tune into part 2 of this series for even more exciting content.